There are things in this world that were never meant to be found. A single drop of this liquid on your glove, and your fate is already sealed. You won't feel it until months later when it's far too late. We are talking about gases that devour stone, metals that crumble into dust before your eyes, and an object buried in the ruins of Chernobyl that destroys your DNA simply by existing. Today we enter the darkest laboratories of mankind. We reveal the 7 deadliest substances on Earth. If you see them, don't breathe, don't touch, and pray you are far enough away. Welcome to Noli Odd. Our journey begins in 1996 in a quiet laboratory at Dartmouth College. Professor Karen Wetterhahn was a world-renowned expert on toxic metals. She was wearing protective gear, she was careful, but she made one tiny mistake that would cost her everything. She spilled just 2 drops of a clear liquid onto her latex glove. She thought she was safe. She didn't know that dimethylmercury doesn't wait for permission to enter your bloodstream. For months, Karen felt nothing, but inside the mercury was quietly dismantling her nervous system. By the time the first symptoms appeared, slurred speech and loss of balance, it was already too late. Her blood mercury levels were 80 times the lethal limit. Karen Wetterhahn fell into a coma and passed away less than a year after those 2 tiny drops touched her glove. Her legacy changed laboratory safety forever, proving that, in the world of science, silence is the deadliest warning. If dimethylmercury was a silent ghost, our next substance is a screaming demon. Meet chlorine trifluoride. This is a chemical so violent, so inherently evil, that it can set fire to things that aren't even flammable. In the 1940s, German scientists discovered it while looking for new rocket fuels. They called it Substance N. But they quickly realized, you don't use Substance N, you just try to survive it. What makes chlorine trifluoride truly nightmare level is its reaction with concrete. In the 1950s, a spill of 1 ton of this liquid didn't just puddle on the floor, it burned through 12 inches of concrete and then kept going, eating through 3 feet of gravel beneath it. There is no putting this fire out. Water only makes it explode. It's a chemical that doesn't just destroy, it erases. If you see a pale green cloud of this gas, you don't run. You're already gone. After the blinding heat of Substance 2, our third entry is the complete opposite. A silence so deep it feels like the end of the universe. This is Vantablack. It's not just a color, it's a forest of carbon nanotubes that traps 99.96% of all light. When you look at it, your brain can't process what it's seeing. It looks like a hole in reality. If you were to coat a 3D object in this material, it would lose all its shape, appearing as a flat, bottomless abyss. It's the closest thing to a black hole you can hold in your hand. But while Vantablack steals your sight, substance number 4 steals your life before you even know it's there. Meet VX. Originally discovered by accident in a British pesticide lab in the 1950s, it turned out to be the most lethal nerve agent ever synthesized. It is amber-colored, odorless, and tasteless. It doesn't evaporate like other gases, it lingers on surfaces for weeks waiting for a victim, but its real horror lies in how it kills. VX is a master of biological sabotage. It blocks an enzyme that acts as the off switch for your muscles. Without that switch, every muscle in your body is forced to contract at once, and they stay that way. A single drop on your skin sends your system into a permanent violent convulsion. Your heart and your diaphragm, the muscle that lets you breathe, simply lock up. You don't die from a wound, you die because your body is trapped in a state of total agonizing contraction, and it literally forgets how to breathe. It is the ultimate chemical nightmare. Number 5 is a substance that ignores your skin to go for something much deeper. Hydrofluoric acid. Most acids are loud, they smoke, sizzle, and burn the surface on contact, but hydrofluoric acid is a quiet predator. It slips through your tissues like a ghost, often without causing any immediate pain. You might not even know you've been touched until it's too late. Once inside, it reveals its true hunger. It seeks out the calcium in your body. It literally dissolves your skeleton from the inside out while you are still alive. It's a slow-motion demolition of the human frame, turning your strongest defense into your greatest agony. Substance number 6 is a ghost of the periodic table. Francium. It is the most unstable, naturally occurring element on Earth. It's so radioactive that if you manage to gather enough of it in one place to actually see it, the intense heat of its own radiation would vaporize it instantly. It exists in a constant state of suicide. In nature, there is probably less than 30 grams of it in the entire Earth's crust at any given time. It is a metal that refuses to exist, a violent explosion waiting for a single drop of water to trigger a reaction that makes pure sodium look like a toy. It is the definition of beautiful, fleeting destruction. Our final entry isn't a chemical found in a lab, but a monster born in the heart of a disaster. The elephant's foot, found in the dark basement of the Chernobyl nuclear reactor. This is a mass of corium, a black lava-like mixture of melted nuclear fuel, concrete, and metal. When it was first discovered, just 300 seconds in its presence was a guaranteed death sentence. Even today, nearly 40 years later, it remains a glowing tomb of radiation. It is so dense that no drill could penetrate it, and so radioactive that it destroyed the cameras used to photograph it. It is the footprint of a titan, a permanent scar on the earth that reminds us some things were never meant to be let out of their cage. From a single drop of mercury that can wait months to kill you, to a radioactive ghost that refuses to even exist, our world is built on a delicate balance of chemistry and physics. These 7 substances remind us that we are constantly walking on a thin line between groundbreaking discovery and total catastrophe. Nature doesn't care about our intentions, it only follows its own rules. Rules that can dissolve bone, freeze breath, or vanish into a void of absolute black. If you want to dive deeper into the mysteries that define our universe, don't forget to subscribe. Stay curious, stay cautious, and we'll see you in the next one. This is Noli Odd.